Okay, says the webinar is now broadcasting to all attendees. Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, crap.
Hey, Karina.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
So I'm stressing out a little bit. I don't use Zoom very often. I use Google Meets at my school because Zoom is not allowed. And so it is recording right now, which I don't think it's supposed to be doing.
Oh.
So I don't know how to stop. Because again, this isn't my control, so I don't, so it might record our conversation here.
Okay.
Charge, and she said that they can probably cut this out.
Okay.
Edit it.
So that is the hope. I do not want to end meeting for all. Okay. All right, so what schools are you guys with?
I'm from Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois.
Okay.
And I'm with Lake Forest College in Lake Forest, Illinois.
Do you know who else is? Because we don't get a list of who's all going to be here.
Yeah.
So.
Natalie Lugg from DePauw will be here, and yeah, she'll be here. I think Natalie and I did one of these together during the summer when StriveScan first did them, and we got here like 10 minutes before our session, and they were like, "Wow, like you guys are like early," and we were like, "Are we?" So I think you should probably just give it some time.
Well, like I said, I had to call somebody because this is my first one, so I'm flipping out a little bit, so I apologize. I am going to attempt to share my screen to make sure I know how to do that. So,
where are you? What school are you at?
I'm with Afton High School.
Awesome.
In
Okay,
St.
yeah.
Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to sharing screen, I don't know what's going on.
You can do
it. So it just says share screen. But it doesn't give me, it only shows us. Oh, here, maybe, am I moving something here? Can you guys see this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Is there like a StriveScan, maybe like slide, or is that what they're wanting you to share?
Yes, there is. Can you see that at all?
Not yet.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I am so sorry.
No, you're okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know what? It'll be what it is.
Yeah.
We only have 17 people registered for this session, so
How many are?
17. I just checked it.
Okay. That's not the end of the world. Something goes wrong.
Yeah, it won't be. And you know what? I mean, I think like the beauty of this time is that we're all a little bit more human, and I think that that's really valuable. So hopefully, I'm sure they'll see it that way too. But.
Okay, so like I said, this is the only thing I'm nervous about is that none of it has to, like, this isn't mine. Okay, let's see if this works. Does that work?
Yes, you did it. Yes.
Oh, yay. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go through all these different things with you guys. If you've already done one, you might already know. But the session is going to end promptly at 45 minutes, so I will pop on, hopefully, if I can figure out how to do that, at 45 minutes. The session is being recorded, and unfortunately, you guys, we are being recorded right now because I don't know how to stop it, and I don't know what I did. And so you'll mute yourself when you're not speaking, so there's no background. You'll use a button to share, as I just learned how to do. You'll play a video. Is anybody playing a video?
Mm-mm.
All right, but are you guys going to be sharing screens? So you guys all know how to do that? Okay. Do you guys want to attempt to do that to make sure you know, or you think you're good?
I think I'm good. I did one at like 6 p.m. So that was my test run for right now.
Okay. I wish I had a test run before this happened.
You're killing it. You're
So,
doing great.
yeah, I wish they would have made us go through one before it happened. So, but they told us how to do it, expecting that I do Zoom a lot, and I do not. After the session, they'll send you a list of registered students and a transcript of the Q&A. The Q&A is the only way that they'll be able to do that. Do not hit answer live, because we do not want the student's name and question to go in front of everybody on the recording. If you don't get to every answer or every question, don't worry. You're going to get that transcript, so you'll be able to reach out to those kids afterwards. Yeah, that's about it. And then I will introduce you guys in 2 minutes. I'll probably do it very quick, so then I can figure out how to get back off. Like I said, I apologize for not being better at this.
It is no big deal. Honestly, I'm jealous of you for not using Zoom a lot. I'm sick of it by now.
Well, Zoom is blocked on our students' Chromebooks.
Oh.
So they can only use personal computers or phones for theirs. We have to use everything through Google Meet. So I can do anything with a Google Meet, but Zoom, I usually just get on meetings. I don't usually run meetings.
Fair.
So that is why I'm kind of stressing out a little bit.
Oh, you're good. You're totally good. Also, good to know about the answer live, because I definitely did that at the other presentation. Whoops.
All right.
We didn't get these directions in my last presentation. So.
Oh, you didn't get that?
It wasn't, for some reason, the guy was having, our facilitator was having issues. So he let us in like with only 2 minutes to go before we started. So we had to basically start without going through all of this, but it worked out just fine. It was
okay. Yeah, like I said, I was all sitting here, I've been ready to go. And then when I logged into Zoom with StrifeScan's information, then I didn't know where to go from there. So then I finally figured out, but then it only said broadcast. It didn't, there was no start webinar. So I'm guessing that, and then it said it's recording. So I'm hoping that this is what we're doing, because I never saw a blue button that says start webinar.
It is recording. It says that it's recording.
Yeah, I'm just hoping. Oh, there says there's 6 participants now.
You got 2 attendees, it looks like.
Okay.
Okay, we're doing good. Oh, is it time? Are we going?
7 o'clock exactly. Do you wanna, what do you think?
What time is it?
We can introduce
it's 7 o'clock. Okay.
On the dot.
So I thank you guys. You are attending the MOACAC Show Me My Future event. Tonight's session is the value of liberal arts. I need to just go over a couple of key points first. How to answer questions, or how to ask questions, you need to use the Q&A button. Your camera and your microphone will be off through the entire webinar. And if you enjoy this session and you're interested in learning more, there's more sessions that you can sign up for on the MOACAC website. And there will be a recording of tonight's video. So you will be able to go to the MOACAC website for that after this. So from there, it's all for you guys.
Awesome. Well, I can go ahead and share my screen. I will let you guys introduce yourselves first.
Yeah.
Did I get that up?
Well, so welcome to our participants. I appreciate that you're here. I'm hoping that this can be a conversation where you ask a lot of questions, which is going to feel a lot like what it's like to be at a liberal arts college. So hopefully this feels like you're knocking on the right doors. My name is Sarah Colangelo. I am one of the admission folks at Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois, which, if you are from Missouri, is about 3.5 hours from St. Louis and about 4.5 hours from Kansas City by Amtrak. So you can get to us pretty easily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karina Henderson. I'm an admissions counselor at Lake Forest College. Lake Forest is also in Illinois. We are 30 miles north of Chicago. So if you are familiar with Chicago, it's about a 5.5 hour drive from St. Louis. And so we are just north of that.
Awesome. And hi, everybody. My name is Natalie Lugg. I work with DePaul University. We are just 3.5 hours east of St. Louis. So you jump on 70 and you hit Greencastle, Indiana, right before Indianapolis. So hop, skip, and a jump to any of us, it sounds like, which is awesome. But before we dig too deep into the value of the liberal arts, I know we kind of wanted to start by jumping in and giving you all just a baseline of a few different liberal arts institutions. DePauw, Knox, and Lake Forest. So just to give you a little bit of background about DePauw University, we actually have a little under 2,000 graduates. Average class size is around 17, and we have a 9-to-1 student faculty ratio. So you'll see with a lot of our institutions, us three here today, that our faculty members want to get to know their students. So that's why a lot of our classes are so small. And you'll also probably see within the academic majors that you end up declaring and choosing that your classes as you go through sophomore, junior, senior year are going to get even smaller. Just continue with that discussion-based learning, that liberal arts skill set where we want you to strengthen your communication skills, your research skills, your writing skills in as many ways as possible. And part of that will come with that personalized attention from all of our professors. A few other things that make DePauw unique. Yes, we are Division III athletics. We compete in the North Coast Athletic Conference, which is a lot of other Ohio liberal arts institutions like Denison, Ohio Wesleyan, Kenyon, just to name a few. As you can see, we have our top 5 most popular majors listed here. I kind of cheated. It's probably actually more like top 7 because communication and theater are 2 separate majors, and as are chemistry and biochemistry. But we have 47 majors total to choose from and 52 different minors. Many of our students explore all different types of academic departments and end up at the very least having a major and a minor, if not a double major. I, for example, was an economics major with a history minor, and now I'm in higher education. So when I say you're strengthening your skill sets, you're also strengthening your skill sets to explore all different career pathways. You will be versatile and adaptable no matter what you're thrown into, and not just during your time in college, but also elsewhere in your career. A few other different highlights. We are huge in off-campus studies, so we call it experiential learning and require at least 2 experiential learning or extended studies opportunities throughout your 4 years at DePauw. So that could include an internship that is paid through our huge alumni network. It could be a study abroad for a semester or during a winter term or May term trip. But also research is super big on our campus, not just for science students, but also for those who might be interested in humanities, the social sciences. And if you're looking to raise the bar a little bit higher, maybe you take those AP IB honors courses in high school already, or you are part of taking classes at a local community college. You might want to check out one of our honors and fellows programs. We have 4 different honors and fellows programs, some that are more specific, others that are a little bit more broad, that offer flexibility with what you could do within the program. But I say, in a way, they take liberal arts in your career path on a faster track. So that's something that you could expect in those particular programs. A little bit about our application process. We're on the common application. It's free to apply. We also have our own separate DePauw application, but it really doesn't matter which one you choose to submit for us. This is our 3rd year being test optional with ACT and SAT, but if you choose to submit your test scores, we do super score. But if you choose not to submit, I do want to say that it won't affect your merit scholarship. It won't affect your admissibility. And a lot of that is because we do a holistic approach, that we're looking at every single piece of your application. We think everything about you is important. So that's why we look at extracurriculars, at your essay, at your letters of recommendation. We not only, focus on those numbers such as GPA and test scores to see if you would be able to succeed academically at DePauw, but all those other pieces that we're looking at also help us really gauge, are you a good fit for our community and are we a good fit for you? On the financial aid side of things, we are part of FAFSA. Additional tax documents, depending on family situations, could include 1040 tax returns and W-2s, but that's really all we need to get a fair assessment of what other need we could potentially offer you. In terms of additional scholarships, our merit range is between $18,000 and $35,000 and just merit scholarship alone. And we do have additional scholarships that you could apply to or that we flag you on your college application, but that looks at leadership and service. I always highly encourage students to look at outside scholarships as well. I try to help point them in the right direction, especially if it comes to a point where DePauw has no more funds to offer. We've gone to that very end of the line, and there's other opportunities out there that I can help with. So that's another thing that I also wanted to briefly mention.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Knox College. What do you know? Another small liberal arts college. That happens to be what we're talking about. I think I certainly am a product of a small liberal arts college. I did go to Knox, I'll tell you that much. And so as I talk about them, I speak from personal experience in terms of, you know, it was a great experience. And I think that we've all come to admission for different reasons. But oftentimes I think that you have these rich experiences in liberal arts that lead you on a path you're not going to expect necessarily. So at Knox, we're about 1,300 undergraduates. So much like DePauw, your classes are small. I usually say they're between 10 and 20 people, very conversation-based, very discussion-based. You can't just sit in a classroom and not talk and get a degree from a place like Knox. So everybody has a faculty advisor at Knox. They help you kind of figure out what you're doing through your time at Knox. We're in Galesburg, Illinois. Like I said, it's a city of about 33,000 people, a smaller city, but very much the micropolitan city around which other small towns converge. So we are across the street from the courthouse in town. There are 2 hospitals. There's also great places to eat, great places to walk around and buy things as well. Things that are popular at Knox, people often find us creative writing and biology tend to be the 2 most popular. So if that gives you a little bit of an idea of sort of that well-roundedness of a small liberal arts college, there you go. But psychology is popular as well. Psychology is popular everywhere. International relations is popular. Economics is popular. Business. Knox is about 19% international, so we have that really large international population, which is oftentimes why folks are interested in international relations on our campus. Things that are a little bit unique to Knox among small liberal arts colleges, the college is on a trimester system, so 3 classes at a time, 3 terms per year, 9 classes a year. During one of those trimesters, you can choose to do something called an immersion term, where you just do one thing for the entire trimester and you get credit for it. So one is called clinical psychology term, where you do an on-the-ground clinical internship. One is called Green Oaks term, where you live at our biological field station and do research. One's a repertory theater term. One's called startup term, which is kind of like Shark Tank term. So lots of cool stuff. And we're talking a lot about experience, right? Natalie mentioned the word experiential learning. I think that's a word you're going to hear a lot when you look at small liberal arts colleges, but it's different everywhere. So you kind of have to sort of dig into that. At Knox, juniors and seniors are guaranteed $2,000 in their junior year to do some sort of experiential learning, to do some kind of research or to do an internship and live somewhere, to start a nonprofit, to study abroad, those kinds of things. Knox is one of the colleges that change lives. If you do it right, there isn't a college that won't change your life. But if you're looking for a book of small liberal arts colleges, not all of the small liberal arts colleges, that's a place you can go. Knox also has a Peace Corps preparatory program. It was the first in the country. A program called Justice Corps, where students intern at the courthouse across the street. And we have a college honors program that is not like a separate honors college. Another thing you might want to look out for when you're looking at small liberal arts colleges, it's basically just a graduate level thesis you can choose to do in your junior and senior year. So those are my highlights. Knox is on the Common App, the Coalition app. We have a Knox application. Common App's pretty easy, but any of these work. Knox is test optional. Again, like DePauw, many small liberal arts colleges you'll find are test optional. We were kind of an early adopter. Holistic application review, again, kind of a trademark of these small liberal arts colleges. We're gonna look at everything. We're gonna really take your application apart, read the essays, read the recommendation letters, understand that last year was a strange year for everybody, those kinds of things. Knox also uses the FAFSA for financial aid. We also have a Knox financial aid application. And I will say, another advantage of a small liberal arts college or a liberal arts college in general, oftentimes is that they can take you a little bit more personally. So the last couple of years were difficult. Last year, it seems like a couple of years, but it was just one. Knox has what's called the special circumstances form, which is a form that families can fill out when there have been changes in their financial situation that might not be reflected on the FAFSA. You can also apply to Knox. When you apply, you're automatically considered for academic merit-based scholarships up to about $2,300,000 a year and kind of down in increments from there. We also look at your Knox factor, which is just X factor with a KNO in front of it. And what we mean by that is who you are as a person, right? What makes you you, what makes you a good fit, exactly like Natalie said. What are you going to get from this experience? What are you going to bring to this experience, right? It's been really cool to see. I know we'll talk a little bit more about sort of what's been happening lately, but I think that every institution is kind of responding to what's happening in the world in a little bit different way. And I think that small liberal arts colleges do it best, if you have to ask me. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
All right, my turn. Lake Forest, as I said, is in Lake Forest, Illinois, just north of Chicago. It's a really cute little neighborhood. It's surrounded by a lot of other suburbs, but there really is like a hub compared to the neighborhoods around it. It's easily accessible whenever you are living in Chicago and moving up to Lake Forest. There is the Metro, which is a commuter rail that some of our students and even faculty and staff will use to get back and forth from all of the different suburbs in the Chicagoland area, and then connect that with the neighborhoods and then downtown Chicago itself. So if you were to take the Metro, Lake Forest would be about an hour-long train ride to get to the heart of the loop in downtown Chicago. So it really is the best of both worlds. A lot of our students will be interested in Lake Forest because they want a more suburban feel. They want a residential college experience, which is what a lot of liberal arts colleges can offer students, while also being close to a big city. I also went to a liberal arts college, but I didn't go to Lake Forest, so I'm a little bit strange in that sense. But I really am passionate about the liberal arts experience, and I think that with all of us either going to a liberal arts college or working at one, we see those similarities and the values of that experience. So that was part of the reason why I was drawn to Lake Forest as a staff member. We're also Division III athletics. We actually just added lacrosse for men's and women's varsity teams. That'll start up in fall 2021, so it's really exciting. It's pretty cool to be able to have new sports coming in and being able to connect with students that get to play a new sport that they otherwise might not have been able to. We also have some very similar popular majors. Definitely biology. I would say biology and psychology are kind of our big ones right now. Communication is on the rise, as well as econ and finance and business. A lot of our students will at least have a major and minor. Some will double major or have multiple minors. It certainly is something that we encourage of our students. It's not required, but a lot of our majors really fit in with each other, and we really, well, a lot of liberal arts schools in general, kind of the point is that you're able to integrate STEM majors with the arts and the humanities, and that's certainly something that our students will do. So I would say business is a big one, where a lot of students will major in business and double major in something else that fits their interests. At Lake Forest, experiential learning is also very important. So you'll hear that a lot, as we said. We actually provide an opportunity for our students to participate in an internship, and they can do up to 3 of them that count for their credit in order to graduate. And so those opportunities aren't something that students have to figure out on their own. We have a career advancement center that supports students in finding those opportunities and really help them weave it into their academic experience so that you don't have to miss out on internship opportunities because you need to prioritize other things. Also, another cool thing about that is that students can do those 4-credit internships abroad. So that's also something that students might take advantage of. We have many study abroad programs and a specific center that works with students to help find those programs if it is, through an internship or not. And the nice thing about Lake Forest is that since we encourage those experiences, your tuition package would go along with you whenever you study abroad. So that's something that really makes sure that we have students that are able to take advantage of those opportunities. We also have a program that is a study away in the South Loop in Chicago. So that's a really cool opportunity for students who maybe have never lived in a big city, or even students who are from Chicago who just aren't as familiar with the downtown area. They're able to live downtown, be with a cohort of other Lake Forest students, take classes, complete an internship while they're downtown. And all of that counts towards their experience at Lake Forest and doesn't change their tuition package. We also highly value research, as a lot of liberal arts colleges do as well. We have the Richter Scholars Summer Research Program. That's an opportunity for first years to participate in their own individual research that is facilitated by their own mentor, who is a professor at the college. They're able to apply for that the summer after their first year at Lake Forest. They get a stipend so that they can live on campus and work with that professor on a research topic that is interesting for them, that they develop, that is completely driven by their own interests. And that's something that is for students who are studying STEM majors as well as in the humanities. So it's really cool that anyone can participate in that, not just typical STEM majors when you think of research. And then we also have a new program that's a joint program with the Rosalind Franklin University of Medicine and Science that certainly helps our students participate in research, but it also is an academic program to help students really accelerate their interest in pursuing pre-health professions. We are also on the Common App. We also have a Lake Forest specific application. There aren't fees for either of those, and it really doesn't matter which one you want to choose. We also are test optional. We do require an interview for students who decide to apply test optional. That's something that you complete over the phone, Zoom, in person, whatever makes the most sense for you. And we super score if you do decide to apply with test scores. We also have a holistic application review, which is going to be something that you'll hear a lot at liberal arts schools. We pay attention to your transcript, to your curriculum. We read your essay. If you are submitting your test scores, we look at those. You'll be considered for merit scholarships regardless if you have your test scores or not, so you don't have to necessarily worry about that. But we really want to be able to connect with you as a whole person. I even encourage my students to interview even if they are submitting test scores. So it's just nice to be able to get to know you. Where for financial aid, you just need to apply through the FAFSA. We do have a separate application for undocumented students. So that's something that you can reach out to me if you have an interest in completing that. It's also online, and you can submit that to our financial aid if you don't feel comfortable talking to me about it. It's definitely something that's available. And then we do have some talent-based scholarships. Those are for students who are interested in the arts, and there is an individual audition for that. And then if you visit campus, we do have a visit grant scholarship that you can participate in. So it's a good incentive to come visit campus if you can.
All right, just a few updates that I think we all kind of wanted to briefly touch on, just so you guys could get an idea of what our fall semesters have looked like with COVID. I'm sure you're all experiencing this in your schools, whether you're virtual, I'm sure a hybrid, that word has been thrown around all the time too. I know for us, it was at DePaul University, the choice to bring freshmen and sophomores back to campus. And make sure that they are fully supported in their first few years of college, being on campus, working with professors. But even students on campus, they don't have all classes in person. So most students are 2 classes in person, 2 hybrid. All of our students who are off of campus are obviously all virtual, but they're also given a technology grant in this semester just to give a little bit more support that they wouldn't be able to have unless they were on campus. So we just wanted to make sure that we were also offering them that support system and that opportunity to have them be as successful as they can while they're virtual off of campus. And then juniors and seniors will be on campus in spring semesters to kind of flip-flop them a little bit. For us, not much has changed with the application process. We're still holistic, we're still test optional, but we do understand that this past year has been a wild one, or I guess the past semester over the summer and such. So Karina was mentioning that having an on-campus interview or phone interview or Zoom interview is super important for us to get to know you. And I think Sarah at Knox can also speak to this too, is even if we don't require it, is super highly encouraged because it can help us advocate for you that much better as your admission counselors, whether it's for admissibility, whether it's for campus and community opportunities, whether it's for scholarship opportunities. We want to make sure that we're giving you as much support as we can by getting to know you as best we can. So that's something that I kind of wanted to mention out there too, but I'll let Sarah offer any pieces too about her COVID updates.
Yeah, you know, at a small liberal arts college, it can really turn things around. I'll never forget an experience I had being at an interview event in Colorado, and I had advocated for a student because I met her at one point, you know, and on paper, she looked like she might struggle at Knox. And then my dean had a conversation with her for 20 minutes, and afterward, he was like, she's amazing. And I was like, I know, I told you so. And so I think that you just have to realize the power of relationships at a small liberal arts college. And I think that power of relationships is something that I think a small liberal arts college can do. You know, I think we all hope that next year will be normal, right? Your freshman year at college will be normal, but we don't know. And something that I think is really special is at Knox, we are back on campus, but in the spring, our RAs continued to work. Our resident advisors continued to work and advise students and work with students. Our counseling services center in the spring and this year is doing group sessions and games of categories and late night meditations and things like that for students. Last year, we had a few students who were abroad when things started to go down in the US, and the college and our alumni kind of took up a fund for those students to get them home. And to make sure that they were safe at home. So again, I think that the power of relationships at a small liberal arts college is something that's you shouldn't overlook, especially during this time. I think it's so much more important to know that this safety net, this group of people that really care about you as an individual, that's more important than ever. But yeah, we're back on campus. We're open for visitors in a very limited way, but you're welcome to come back to campus and see our students walking around with masks. And it's been so nice. You can't see them smiling in the pictures, but you know that they are. I'll let Karina go next.
So we actually are not on campus, which means that it's a very strange experience. We are allowing prospective students to come visit with their families. Like Sarah said, it's very limited, but that is an option. And we do have some students who live on campus, just speaking to this value of developing relationships. At a small liberal arts college, it definitely is an opportunity to make really strong connections with professors and staff members who are there to support you with your needs. And those students that are at Lake Forest who are living on campus right now are students who have special circumstances that make it either difficult or potentially impossible for them to go home right now. So some international students, some students who are experiencing homelessness or have home lives that just aren't healthy for them to live in right now. And so they have the opportunity to live on campus, and we still have facilities that are open for them to make sure that they're comfortable and safe here. So that's something that I think has been really exciting to see as a staff member, that even though the majority of our students aren't on campus, we're still able to make those connections and make sure that our students have the resources that they need, either if they're at home or they're on campus still when everyone else isn't.
All right, now back to the liberal arts side of things. I wanted to dive a little bit more into the experience that you're going to have at schools like Knox, like Lake Forest, like DePauw, in terms of classes. So for us, it's making sure on the liberal arts side of things that we mentioned, you guys will be strengthening skill sets, all different types of skill sets. So that will mean a lot of exploration within other classes that you might not be fully comfortable with, but we intentionally push you outside of your comfort zone, whether it's within your major or minor, whether it's within our other graduation requirements, to make sure that you have a toolkit that will help you be that much more adaptable and flexible and strong and competitive in whatever career path you end up going down. So if you compare these two pieces, you'll see on your left-hand side of the screen, core competencies, and that is really a huge piece of the liberal arts academic realm, and that you're going to get writing skills, speaking skills, research skills. It could be as simple as writing an email to an internship organization that you want to have a summer job at, or for when you apply to these positions when you graduate. It could be, you know, fixing up and dusting up your resume or your cover letter. But our goal throughout all of these different classes that you're going to be taking is that you're strengthening that much more who you are on your resume. So where else are you going to go next, and how else can we support you throughout all of these different opportunities? So with that, you're going to be in classes with maybe music majors or chemistry majors, but you're an English writing student. So a lot of that will also help open up your mindset to what all else is out there, especially within the classes. A lot of our classes are discussion based as well, so that's where that oral communication skill set is going to be coming as well. But it's all about being well-rounded, to make sure that you're able to take all the different tools that you have in your toolkit to get to where you want to be, and that you can utilize them in so many different adaptable ways. At other institutions that might be a little bit bigger, that might be state schools, that's where you see a lot of those gen eds, those general education requirements. Yes, at liberal arts institutions, we want you to be specific within your major or minor, but we also want to make sure that we're setting you up for success in so many other ways besides just pigeonholing you into one specific corner. So that's something that I think you want to keep in mind or keep in your back pocket when looking at all the different institutions that you could be looking at. If they are specifically private liberal arts or a little bit bigger, what are all of those different comparisons that you can see with these institutions?
Excellent. So I think that sometimes there's a little bit of fear when you're, right, you know which colleges you've heard of, right? Of course, you know what you've heard of, right? And so sometimes I think that there's a little bit of concern, not just because you maybe haven't heard of a certain institution and so you're afraid that you might not be able to find a job, but because you really value that sort of like name brandness of it all, or you've been, you know, you've grown up with a certain sweatshirt on and you want to kind of live that life. The value of the liberal arts, and I'll even loop back to the relationships that you build. Alumni are fiercely dedicated to these liberal arts institutions, such that you're going to find internships and opportunities to shadow and things like that. And that's where a lot of this comes in. But if you look at the national averages for some of these different acceptance rates, to law school, to medical school, things like retention rate and graduation rate. If you look at places like the Student Clearinghouse Research Center or College Raptor or the Princeton Review, some of these places will give you a sense of retention rates and acceptance rates and things like that. And you'll notice that schools like Forest and DePauw and Knox are pretty well above those national averages. And the reason is because people know you, because you actually have the opportunity to grow more organically, to do things. You're not competing with others in the same way that you would be at a large research institution. you're doing the research, you're doing the work, you're doing the experiential learning, like we all talked about, in a way that only graduate students are at some of these big places. But again, I understand sometimes those name brands, you know, they're valuable to you. But what you have to realize too is a lot of these small liberal arts colleges have cooperative programs with some of those large name brand schools. And so you can kind of see in our cooperative program section, oftentimes what those cooperative programs mean. I think we probably all have pre-engineering partnerships with WashU in St. Louis, right? And so if you've always wanted to go to engineering school at WashU, then come to one of these schools first. Get that really solid foundation in creativity, that solid foundation in research, and then go to WashU and use their facilities and live downtown and have that experience. But you get the best of both worlds, and when you go out into the world, you're going to have such a wealth of experience that you wouldn't necessarily have had you just gone into this very large program to begin with. And then we kind of have our little brag sheet over to the right-hand side here. I mean, I really just think if you look at these numbers, I mean, acceptance rates to medical schools, graduation rates, placement rates, which basically means, you know, our folks who are graduating actually, you know, going on to get jobs. You have things like graduates who are happy, who are grateful to have gone to these institutions. You have things like graduates who continue to donate to these institutions, right? That kind of thing. Think about what happens 6 months after graduation, right? Are students working? Are they doing service work? Are they doing something meaningful with their degrees? You're going to see that in a much higher volume at a small liberal arts college or a liberal arts college in general than you would at a large research institution.
So there are definitely a lot of different reasons why you might look at liberal arts colleges. I think that some of the big ones for me as I'm connecting with students that we've already talked about are those relationships that you develop with your peers, with alumni, with professors and other staff members on campus. And certainly everything that Sarah said about what you're going to do after you graduate. That is certainly a huge aspect of the college experience. You know, what you study in the classroom, the things that you participate in outside of the classroom are really important. They're going to develop you as a person, help you learn more about your identity, what your values are, what you want to do when you graduate. And there is that significant long-term piece that goes into finding the right college. And it can be stressful when you're looking at colleges to try to think about what your life is going to be like beyond that, because it can be hard to figure out exactly what you want in the moment. But it is something important to think about, at least as you're considering liberal arts schools and why those schools can be beneficial to you and can really shape your experience in college and your experience beyond college compared to other types of schools. The average return on investment for a graduate of a liberal arts college is huge. Financially, that piece is significant compared to other colleges and universities in the United States. $900,000 is a number that can be difficult to even imagine. And that kind of commitment is huge. We know that education is going to be one of the most important investments of your life. And it's something that, again, can be stressful to think about as a high school student. But knowing that when you go to a liberal arts school, the money that you're putting into that experience is going to be so much greater as you leave that experience and you really pursue whatever it is that you're interested in right after college. If you are going to another graduate program right after, if you're going into the workforce, and everything that comes beyond that as an alum. Most liberal arts graduates finish within 4 years, and I say that because it's important to remember then that At some colleges and universities, it might take a little bit longer. And at liberal arts colleges, that focus is on those 4 years. And we jam pack it full of experiences for you to best prepare you for life after college. So that can just be life as a young adult, figuring out what you're going to do in the world, making sure that you're holding yourself accountable for the work that you have to do when you go to a liberal arts college, where you don't fall through the cracks, making sure that you have those professional skills like writing skills, public speaking skills, knowing how to talk to your peers, your professors, ask questions. Those are really valuable aspects of just adult life. But then also that career preparation is huge. Making sure that our graduates feel prepared for the job that they enter once they graduate from college, or once they graduate from the other advanced degrees that they might pursue when they graduate. And then also just to make sure that they are competitive in the job search process whenever they do graduate, making sure that they have those career advancement services that are available at the colleges. Because we know that employers are looking for students who have a well-rounded academic experience as they're getting their bachelor's degrees, and that they aren't just focusing on one specific type of subject, but they are well-rounded in the disciplines that they study and the skills that they develop. And that makes you competitive no matter what type of career you want.
Now, I know we are close to jumping to questions, but before we did that, we also wanted to make sure we dispelled any myths that you might have about the liberal arts. So to start, I know a lot of people think liberal arts, oh, everybody is either super democratic, or they're all music students, or they're super interested in studio art and art history. That is not the case. Liberal artists really just means people who I would say are forward thinking, are open-minded to strengthening skill sets in areas that they deem might be weaker for them. That's how I felt more on the hard sciences side of things. So I was able to strengthen my skill sets in quantitative reasoning, which has helped me out greatly, even in my career realm. So that's something to keep in mind, is that it's not always what it looks like it's going to be. And that's why visiting campuses is also so important, so that you get that feel of, do I see myself here for the next 4 years, succeeding and beyond? And another piece is the incredible research opportunities. I think a lot of people don't see what other extended study pieces that we can provide and support to our students. We have so many different research grants, not just for those scientists, but also for those who are interested in humanities and the social sciences. So for us, it's not just that niche research opportunity for chemists, for biologists. We want to make sure that those who are in history, in women's studies, gender studies, as well as psychology and neuroscience, are able to take that research and run with it if that's what they want to do. So yes, it's about the immersive learning, but it's also about showing people that it's not just for the scientists to be able to go out and do all these other crazy things that you could do. We've got some history majors that are off going on to medical school too. So that's another thing, is that you can really do a lot with all the different majors that we have to offer you. And it just makes you that much stronger with wherever the heck you're going to end up next.
I can jump in, and I gotta tell you, I think a small city, be it quite a distance from a larger city, or be it very close to a larger city, is such a great opportunity to again, just be in a location where you can really make a real change. You can be creative with business owners. You can go someplace local in any of, in Greencastle, in Lake Forest, in Galesburg. You can go to business owners locally and you can say, hey, I want to help you out. Help me build this internship. And then you do exactly what you want to do. And you have this opportunity to make a really big change in a way that you might not be able to in a huge city. Now, there are great things in huge cities too, you know? So having the best of both worlds is a great thing. But again, being in a small city is great. And I will also make a little plug. A lot of liberal arts colleges are in these small cities, and a lot of these small cities have small price tags, so you can order appetizers, which is nice. And then, you know, I think that at a small institution, you can experience a diversity of perspectives in a way that you might not be able to experience at a larger institution. I worked with a student a few years ago who was thinking of transferring from, you know, the large state system in California, and had come, it was a student from Korea, a Korean student, and came to Knox and said, you know, I came to the US because I wanted to meet people who were different from me. And then I went to college, you know, at this giant college, and I only hung out with Korean students. And so I think that when you are in a smaller environment and a small liberal arts environment, you are forced in front of perspectives that are not your own. And there is incredible value in that. And I'll let Karina take the next step.
Yeah, I'll also say, you know, tying into that exactly, being able to tap into different communities within campus really allows you to get to know students that will have different perspectives of you, different hobbies and interests. Some students feel like if they go to a small school, they're going to run into the same people over and over again. That's not the case. Whenever you can dive into you know, student organizations, get to know different types of classes, because you have these core competencies and you're taking classes outside of your typical major classes, you will get connected with people. You're never going to feel like you're stuck with the same group of people. You know, you're going to have those opportunities to develop those relationships all 4 years. And that's the same with faculty and alumni. You know, truly, we've been talking a lot about the relationship building. That is a significant piece of just developing yourself as a person, getting to know new people, and the friendships that you develop. I mean, even though I didn't go to Lake Forest, the liberal arts college that I went to, there are professors that I still text. And whenever I go to that city and I visit them, you know, we get to hang out, and I know that that's something that the students at Lake Forest also experience and at other liberal arts colleges. So those are relationships that you might not realize are as important right now, because maybe you don't have relationships like that at your high school, or can be hard to imagine, but it's definitely something that you'll hold on to all 4 years and after you graduate.
All right. Well, I think we're up for Q&A if there are any questions. Realize I just jumped out of presenter mode or something like that. But as of right now, if anybody has any questions that they want to type in the question box, feel free. We are here to help answer them. I know we have 3 minutes left in the evening, but also feel free to, I was going to say, email us, but our emails aren't on there. So there's that.
On the first slide, that's why.
Oh, thank you.
We should have flipped it.
Well, we do have a question. I'll jump to the first slide, but the first question is, are liberal arts colleges better for price? That is a great question.
It depends so much. I mean, better is a really difficult word, I will say, right? I think, you know, oftentimes when I think about college and like what's right for one person is very different from what's right for another person. So again, Karina talks a lot about the return on investment, right? And I think that you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck at a small liberal arts college, right? Pricing is different everywhere. No, we happen to be from 3 institutions that are probably priced pretty similarly. What I will say about the price of a liberal arts college is that you certainly, if you do, you know, they are often going to a private liberal arts college, especially if it's out of state, is probably going to cost you a little bit more than an in-state institution. You know, especially Missouri has some great deals, you know, for in-state institutions. But I will say with a small liberal arts college or any liberal arts college, you're definitely going to be getting the resources and funding and things like that for what you're paying for.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. What about diversity? I know we've got 1 minute left. I don't know if Karina, do you want me to take it or do you want to take it?
I'll just quickly say, and I think this is something that we've all mentioned, I was surprised when I was getting to know liberal arts colleges that there are a lot of international students that are drawn to liberal arts colleges. So that in itself is a level of diversity that surprised me. But I think that in general, the fact that our students have such diverse academic interests at a liberal arts college, that pulls in diversity of other social identities and makes the overall experience at a liberal arts college more diverse.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That was awesome. Well, thank you all for your questions. We all appreciate you joining us this evening. Thank you everyone for being around. Feel free to email us if you caught our emails, but have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Sarah, Karina, and Natalie for doing such a great presentation. There will be a quick survey for our students and parents after you close the video. It's just a 4-question survey. Please sign up for more sessions and the recording will be available afterwards. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.